let's move on with the most important pressing political issues of the day. And on the phone with me right now is ex-senior White House spokesman and Claude Pepper Chief of Staff Bob Weiner, who, by the way, will be keynoting the Jefferson-Jackson dinner tomorrow night at Naples Beach Resort. And I guess the media and the public are all invited to show up for that. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Dave, and it's great to be with you. And somebody, I can't remember who, is going to be emceeing that event tomorrow.
Some hack.
No, we're very proud, Dave, that you're going to be emceeing the event, and I'm thrilled to be able to speak at it. And yes, we hope people will come to it at the Naples Beach Resort. And my talk is about 8:15, and I understand that people should get there around 7 if they want to be there for the dinner, and around 7:45 if they just want to do dessert and the speeches.
At 5:30 if they want to drink heavily, or just drink moderately. Any one of those things will work out. And by the way, I just want to point out I am an MC for hire, and I'll MC. Heck, I MC'd a car crash the other day over at the corner of Pine Ridge and Airport Road. But listen, tell me what you're going to talk about tomorrow. A little bit. I don't want to give it all away, but do you...
Well, Dave, I'm going to break a little news, and I'll start breaking it on your show. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time, that it was a tragedy that Al Gore did not ask for a standard Florida recount, as the Supreme Court said. If you look at their case, and I read the case and read the decision, and it says a remand. It does not say abort your recount. It asks for a remand back to Florida with a constant process where it would be a statewide constant. And they said that the time under Florida law did not allow it, but they said that it was remanded back to Florida. And Gore was getting all the votes by every time he tried with the Florida Supreme Court. Given that 20 states had a later date for finishing their electoral process, he gave up the ghost beforehand. And what I want to point out, and many White House staffers were upset, many lawyers, and in fact Tom Fiedler from the Miami Herald, the great political reporter, I've talked with him, he said he agrees Gore gave up too soon simply because he was being pressured to do it. But in fact, look what the world would have been like if, under the 50-50 chance of a Gore win, because that's what all the
we would have had Keith Olbermann as Secretary of State. I think probably
Well, you would have had no Iraq war. You would have had gone after bin Laden in Afghanistan, where he was. We would have continued the Clinton-Gore budget surpluses, so he wouldn't have the deficits.
Wow.
He wouldn't be attacking Social Security and Medicare now to pay for rich tax cuts. The world economy might have been very different because of the surpluses in the United States. It would have been a very different world if Gore had gone the route of not caving and asked for the recount that he was entitled to. And all you have to do is look at the last words of the decision where it says remand. It does not say abort.
All right. Well, we don't want to go into any more detail. I want people to hear the whole thing tomorrow. No, I want people to hear the whole thing tomorrow.
Yep,
we don't want to give it all away. Now, I have a couple of things here politically that are going on that are very interesting. Florida has joined 6 other states in filing suit against the federal government over this contraception mandate. And despite the administration's coming out and making what they call an accommodation, the president of Ave Maria University here, Jim Toohey, who I had on the show earlier in the week, said after reading the accommodation, he said it's the exact same thing as the original order, and he sees no reason to abide by it. So he, at the university, and again the state of Florida and 6 other states have filed suit against the federal government. Are they going to win this lawsuit?
Well, it's a very interesting situation. If you listened to that debate last night, Dave, which was just a tragic thing, you had 2 issues. Going after women's health and taking away their right to contraception, and it's a bunch of white men on the stage that are doing it to the women, taking away their health rights, that 99% of women have used contraception, and making religion, the definition of religion, the basis for an election. It's whatever happened to the economy, whatever happened to 23 months of sustained job growth, instead of losing 750,000 a year. Whatever happened to the fact that we have we're getting out of Iraq and Afghanistan, which people have wanted. What happened to those issues instead of making women's contraception? I mean, where are we, in the dark ages here?
Well, they're arguing, of course,
the choices.
They're arguing it's not a contraception issue; it's a government intrusion into religion issue. You know, that's the big difference between what Democrats think and what Republicans think. And so, until we can get together and agree on a definition, until we can agree on what the definition of the problem is, nothing's going to get solved, is it?
The best depictor I've seen, and usually cartoons tell the best story, is about 3 days ago in USA Today and all over the country, there was a cartoon that had Santorum and the Pope between a husband and wife in bed saying, "We want government out of your lives."
Yeah, I guess I can imagine which way that slanted, huh? Hey, another thing that is, I think, very interesting right now is who is the strongest Republican candidate against Barack Obama?
Well, I'm not going to tell.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: what guy do the Democrat? What are you hearing in the corridors of power in Washington D.C.?
I'm for. Hey, I want to let Palin get back in. Let her do it now that she's just said that she couldn't take the stress of being governor and she left after 2 years. So or Gingrich, the Tiffany's candidate of the child janitor, or Santorum with homosexuality is bestiality, and he takes his word and message from Satan. I mean, they got, and then Romney, with I am not very concerned about the very poor, and here let's bet $10,000 and let Detroit go bankrupt and let housing, especially in Florida, let housing starts go to bottom and don't tell people with their housing foreclosures, let them get kicked out of their houses, rent them, and then force them onto the streets to do God knows why. He never defined what he meant.
You say eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Then it could be any of the four. And do you think that most? I
think the truth of what has happened in these debates, 20 debates, is they have actually betrayed their feathers, and they have shown what they really believe. And I'm not going to dodge from the fact that I am very believing that they have weakened themselves tremendously for the general election by Romney moving to the extreme right, Santorum and Gingrich already being there. It may be, we'll see what happens on Tuesday, whether Santorum can win Michigan, but now it's looking more like Romney, now that Santorum has opened his mouth, that Romney might still win the thing.
Yeah.
But if there's a split convention, they could go to Jeb Bush, they could go to Mitch Daniels. Those would be stronger candidates than the ones they've got out there now.
So they obviously everybody on the Democrat side is hoping that it's one of these three guys who they view as damaged.
Oh, no, let's get Ron Paul in.
I kind of like Ron Paul in a kind of a wacky way. I mean, it's good for comic relief. And I wish I had more time. I'm out of time. We had a little miscommunication here trying to get the call on. But I want to remind everybody that if you want to hear a little more of Bob Weiner, and you can see he's very shy about his opinions, you'll probably have to coax it out of him. But he, along with Rod Smith from Florida here, will be doing the keynoting tomorrow night at this dinner at the Naples Beach Club at 8:15. And I think it's going to be a lively time. Thanks, Bob, for coming on with us today.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
My pleasure. It's 4:20, and when we come back, Mayor John Sorey joins us.